Hey, I'm Big Sam, and I've done it the wrong way for a long, long time. Welcome back to the Big Sam Podcast. We're going to talk about faith, family, life, leadership, and things that help you move the needle. Today, I want to talk about a habit that can change your life, change your career, change your leadership, change your relationships, and your influence. Title of today's episode is Be the Person Who Solves Problems. Sounds simple. If you spend any time in a workplace, church, family, community, you probably noticed something. Most people are really good at identifying problems. I know those people. Much smaller group are people willing to solve them. Those people are invaluable. Anybody can spot a problem. Gosh, put on social media today. You can see uh, everybody can spot the problem. Nobody, not many are willing to solve the problem. And that includes politicians, talking heads, people in general. It doesn't take much to point out what's wrong. The machine's broken, the process is inefficient, the customer's upset, communication failed, budget's tight, schedule slipped, kids are acting up, the church needs volunteers. Anybody can point those things out. Some people make an entire career out of telling people what's wrong. You walk into a room and see the flaw. They look at something on social media, see the flaw, see what's wrong. Uh, they've got a problem for every solution. The problem is that criticism by itself creates very little value. The world already knows there's problems. Uh, what the world desperately needs is people who are willing to solve them. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of people. I've seen incredibly talented people stay exactly where they are. I've also seen people become extraordinary leaders. The difference is, one of the biggest differences is, do they solve problems or simply report them? Do they just gripe about it, or do they get their hands dirty and fix it? Leaders naturally gravitate toward people they can depend on, not people who never make mistakes, not people who know everything, not people with the big degrees, a bunch of letters out behind their name. People who help carry the load, people who walk into a difficult situation and say, let's figure this out. Those are the people everyone wants on their team. Those are the people who earn trust. Those are the people who become leaders. Uh, Most people see a problem and immediately ask, why is this happening? Problem solvers ask, what can I do about it? That question changes everything. Every family has problems. Every company has problems. Every church has problems. Every community has problems. People are Problems are not signs that life has failed. They're opportunities to make things better. And we say that all the time. This isn't a problem. This isn't an issue. It's an opportunity for improvement. The people who move the needle don't run from problems, they move towards them. But you got to use discernment. Before we go too far, we need to balance something here. Not every problem is yours to solve. And I know this is going to be a little bit of going to sound like a contradiction from what I just said, but there's got to be some discernment. Some people hear a message like this and immediately decide they're responsible for fixing everything around them. That's not leadership. That's burnout waiting to happen. I've done it. I've wanted to help everybody. I've wanted to fix everything. I've wanted to fix situations that weren't mine. I've invested time and emotional energy into problems I was not called to carry. While I was busy trying to solve everyone else's problems, I sometimes neglected the responsibilities that actually belong to me. Good leaders use discernment, and that's the tough part. That's something that discerning this is difficult, and it's probably the key to being a good problem solver. So ask yourself, do I actually have the ability to help, or am I going to make this worse? Will my involvement help improve the situation? Am I helping or interfering? Better stated, does it have to be said? And you've heard me say these things. Does it have to be said or done? Does it have to be said or done by me? Does it have to be said or done right now? Um, a line that we use, and it comes out of a Riley Green song. Is this my damn to give? If it is, do it. Go all in. It's a difficult line to walk, but you need to walk it. Sometimes you need to step in. Sometimes you need to coach someone else through the problem, help them out. If you see it and you see somebody else is dealing with it, maybe you walk up and go, hey, is there a way I can help you with this? I see what you got here, what you got going on. Can I help you with this? I've seen leaders walk up without even asking a question of what's going on and start telling people how to solve the problem. That creates confusion, frustration, and usually the problem doesn't get solved because everybody just goes, forget it, I'm going to go on and do something else. So, but if you can help the person that's involved, the person who it is their area, it is their circle of influence. And I've heard that said before. My old buddy Chris Johnson used to talk about, is this my circle of influence? And I will still use that. Is this in my circle or in my sphere that I can control? Is this a place I can help? Again, it may not be. So sometimes the person that is actually solving the problem, they may ask you for help. You may go, hey, can I help you? Is this something I can help with? And they go, oh man, yeah, I was floundering here. And you know what? I know you can help here. Or maybe you got an answer. This is where I'm stuck. Maybe maybe they can help. Maybe they'll ask you if you can help them. Sometimes you simply need to pray for them and let them grow through it. That's not neglect, that's wisdom. Folks, even Jesus didn't heal every sick person in Israel. He didn't solve every problem he encountered. He remained focused on the mission that he had in front of him. If Jesus exercised discernment, we certainly should too. The goal isn't to solve every problem. The goal is to faithfully solve the problems that God's entrusted to you. Again, that is some high-level discernment, but as your needle moves, you can do that. You're capable of that. When we hear problem solver, we tend to imagine huge accomplishments. Some of the greatest solutions are incredibly simple. Returning a phone call, helping a coworker, listening to someone who's hurting. I've done that lately, and we've certainly had that done for us. Clarifying a misunderstanding before it becomes a conflict. I've done that, and it helps. Cleaning up something nobody's asked you to clean. Improving a process that saves everyone 5 minutes a day. Showing up early. Owning your mistakes. Small solutions solve real problems. And over time, small solutions create big results. I had an incident come up this last week. Stopped to get my morning biscuit. I probably need to stop that, but hey, I got a store up the road from me that has some really, really good gas station biscuits, and they were running a special on fountain drinks. So I got my fountain drink, and it was 99 cents for any size. So hey, I got the great big one. Well, I stepped to the side to get the lid. There were no lids. So I looked over at the cashier and motioned for the lady to come over, and she found the lids. But they wouldn't for her, and she was in a big hurry because there were people lining back up to register. She just kind of halfway shoved them in there and said something, and I said, "Hey, I got it." So I took all the lids and I straightened them out. Now, given I grew up in a convenience store, my dad owned convenience stores when I was a kid. We've talked about that before, and so I understand her situation. So I straightened them all up, stacked them in there nice and neat and pretty, and I got over to the register, and she was like, "Hey, thank you, you're good," and comped my biscuit and my drink. So score. Not saying that we should do things, we should take care of things to get rewarded. I'm never going to say that, but hey, it's a nice little perk having your biscuit cover to make your day. One thing I've learned is that many people spend their lives waiting. Someone should fix this. Someone should volunteer. Someone should help improve this process. Someone should help that family. Someone should mentor the young employee. The problem is everybody's waiting on somebody. Leadership often begins the moment you realize, maybe I'm the somebody. You don't need a title. You don't need permission. Like I said earlier, you don't need a fancy degree. You don't need a corner office. You simply need initiative. Some of the most influential people I've ever met never had a management title. Every time something needed to be done, they stepped up. One of my favorite leaders in Scripture is Nehemiah. He heard that Jerusalem's walls were laying in ruins. Most people simply accepted it. Nehemiah didn't. He let the problem break his heart. Then he prayed, then he planned, then he organized, then he motivated others. That's key there. Somebody told me when I was in high school, To be a great leader, you got to be a motivator. He faced criticism, he endured opposition, and eventually the walls were rebuilt. Here's what impresses me most: Nehemiah accepted responsibility for a problem he didn't create. You look it up, read the story. Problem solvers spend less time in assigning blame and more time creating solutions. Don't be a complainer. There's a huge difference between identifying a problem and becoming a complainer. Problem solvers say, here's what's wrong and here's the idea. Complainers say, here's what's wrong. Somebody ought to do something. One creates momentum, the other drains it. Every organization has enough critics. Every church has enough critics. What they need are builders. Builders make things better. Builders say, yes, we can. All right, going back a little ways there. Everyone wants influence. Everyone wants their opinion respected. Everyone wants opportunities. Influence isn't demanded, it's earned. And one of the fastest ways to earn influence is to become known as someone who solves problems. When people know they can count on you for difficult moments, they begin to ask your advice. They begin to trust your judgment. They give you greater responsibility. Influence grows because people have confidence in your character. Anybody can look good when everything's easy. Yes, and where we're going with this is problems reveal character. Problems reveal who we really are. When things go wrong, do we complain? Do we blame? Do we panic? Or do we go to work? And again, folks, y'all have heard my tagline over and over and over. I've done it the wrong way for a long, long time. And for years, problems would reveal a part of my character that wasn't a good part of my character to reveal. Hopefully, I've gotten better at that. I think I have. Do we go to work? Some of the greatest growth in my life came from challenges I never wanted. Those problems forced me to learn, to adapt, to grow, to trust God more deeply than I ever had before. Life has a way of bringing problems none of us would ever choose. Health issues. Last few episodes, we've discussed those, what we're going through with my wife Amy, and believe me, those have presented some great opportunities to solve problems. Financial struggles, been there. Family crises, been there. Loss, of course. Heartbreak, uncertainty. Sometimes there isn't a perfect solution. Sometimes you can't fix what's broken, but you can still ask, what's the next right thing? Maybe you can't solve that problem all the way out to its logical end. Maybe you can solve this part of that problem for today. Maybe you can make it better today. If you see somebody with loss of a loved one or struggling with cancer, a health issue, you can't bring that person back. You can't make the person who's hurting feel better, like they're going to be there for life. We learned some of that in grief. You can't take their cancer away or their health issue away, but maybe you can fix them a meal. Maybe you can cut their grass. And believe me, I've had people that do that, have done that for us. Oh gosh, my days have all run together. A few nights ago, Amy and I were sitting, we were watching TV. I'd come home from work and we were talking about the day's events, and I get a knock on the door, and it's my sweet neighbor, Miss Evelyn from next door, came over with a plate of food. It's like, I don't have to fix dinner tonight. How awesome that is. That was a problem solved. Wasn't a huge problem, but it was a good problem to have it solved. So do that for someone else. If you can, if you see somebody struggling financially, and don't be an enabler, of course, but somebody's in a situation that's not of their own doing, grab their Venmo and send them some money, tell them to go get something to eat, order a pizza and have it sent to their house. Solve a problem. Maybe it's encouraging someone who's losing hope. Send them, give them a phone call, send them a text, make them a video like we talked about. Sit beside them if they, if you think they're alone. Sometimes solving a problem doesn't make it disappear. It means helping someone carry it, bear one another's burdens. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with the challenge, and I've done this a few times. So hopefully y'all are taking these challenges and running with them. Look for one problem you can solve. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's at home, maybe it's at church, maybe it's in your community. You drive by and see a pile of trash or a limb down on the side of the road, and pick it up, throw it in your truck. Um, Now, of course, before you jump in, use some discernment. Ask whether it's truly yours to solve. And if it is, don't wait. Step up, do it. Instead of asking whose job is this, ask how can I help? Because the people who move the needle aren't usually the loudest people in the room. They aren't the biggest critics. They're the quiet builders, the dependable ones, the people that others know they can count on. They solve the right problems, one conversation at a time, one act of service at a time, an opportunity at a time. Be that person. The greatest opportunities in life are often hidden inside the problems everyone else is trying to avoid. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. Thank you for listening to these and watching these. If you've been following along with us, or if this is your first go round, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. The time that you'll spend 15, 20 minutes with me every week is humbling. So, and I appreciate the comments that I've gotten back. So thanks for spending some time with me today. If this encouraged you, share it with someone who leads a team, runs a business, serves in ministry, or simply wants to make a difference. One of the best things you can do is just simply share this out on your social, on your Facebook page. Just click that share button and send it out. Then somebody out there that needs to see it's gonna see it, gonna find it. That's how we can get the word out. That's how we can keep moving this thing forward. And I appreciate you doing that. So until next time, keep solving the right problems, keep serving others, and most of all, keep moving the needle.